This song helped me land on the Billboard charts, but most people don't even know how it came about. Let's talk about it. Today, I will be breaking down the full story behind my song, Thank You, from conception to execution. So the inspiration behind the song came from faith. I was going through a rough time in my life when I started writing this song. I essentially wrote this song from the valley. The conception of the song was simple: thanking God before the breakthrough. I had to have faith that everything was going to work out. I was working with a producer on a previous project that I was a part of. I reached out to him and said, hey, do you think that we could work on this song? I sat with it for a few days, and then the concept of thanking God was heavy. I'm the kind of person that can feel what the song is supposed to be about just by hearing it. We started talking about who we wanted to be on the song, so I started picking musicians in the area. The first thing that we did was cut the music. So we cut bass, drums, guitar, organ, and keys all together. So we went to a church that had the capabilities to record, and we recorded the song. We did a few takes there. After we did that, we got it at a good point where we wanted it. The producer, who was also the keyboard player on the song, was like, hey, I'll take this and like put it all together and everything, make sure we get rid of the bad takes and, piece it together. So he did that, sent it to me, and I was like, this is perfect. This is amazing. So we went with that one, and then we ended up getting some background vocals done. So I wanted a choir kind of sound, but with praise team amount of people. I called a vocal producer. So I ended up calling him, and I was like, hey, do you think you could vocal produce and provide background vocals for this song? And he was like, absolutely. So we met up at a church that I was working with at the time, and they ended up allowing us to be able to just go in and just kind of rehearse and stuff like that. So he put together the parts. They recorded the background vocals. And it's crazy because the first half of the background vocals didn't end up being usable for some reason. I think the files got messed up. So we ended up having to recut. They came out flawless. And then it was time for me to cut my lead. So we ended up going to another studio. We went to I think 3 or 4 different studios to cut this record. And that had a lot to do with money. I was working with a very limited budget at the time, and I didn't have the means to record on my own at home. I was really uncomfortable in the studio at the time because we were running out of money. So I was really, really nervous about that whole situation. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna have enough money. I'm not gonna be able to finish this. And it already was taking this is all within a span of a year. This took a whole year to finish. And usually it should not take that long, but when you're doing gospel music and you're working with a limited budget, you gotta pay the price. It's a lot of money, and people are well worth it, don't get me wrong. But it's a lot of money and a lot of time that goes into these things. So if I had more money, we could have gotten it done a lot quicker, but I had to space everything out a certain way. So we got all of that done, and then we sent it off to get mixed, and the mix came back maybe a week later, and I was in love with it. It was amazing. What's crazy about this song that a lot of people don't know, when it came out, it did well, all that kind of stuff, but I didn't know or feel like people were listening because it didn't reflect on social media. And that's where I was just like, man, I'm tired of spending a whole bunch of money and not seeing a result or a return. So I did all that I could to make sure that I submitted my song where I needed to submit it. I sung it everywhere, all of that kind of stuff in the background, not knowing that was for my benefit, because you're like, oh man, if you don't see a return immediately, instant gratification, you're just like, man, whatever. So I was really, really depressed while the song was up and out and stuff like that when we released it. I got a text from a friend of mine at the time, and he was just like, yo, you're on the Billboard charts. And I was like, what? So that was such a moment for me, because I was like, man, all of my hard work has paid off. Finally reaping what I've sown at this point. So I'm super, super excited. I got the chart. I'm gonna put it right here. And it was also trending on iTunes. It peaked at number 117 on iTunes, and it was crazy. But with that also comes when is my next one coming? One thing I wish that I could have done during that time when that song hit its peak and stuff like that. I wish that I had just lived in the moment. That's the one thing I regret about this song. That sticks with me because it was such an amazing time, but I was so focused on what was next that I wasn't living in the now. So I would encourage anybody who is experiencing a big moments or, low moments or whatever. Life is mountains and valleys. You just gotta ride the wave. Enjoy that mountain. Feel that valley. Always live in the moment. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you join the community by hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you later. Peace.